out there. 3 minutes and a half. Scan the QR code. Well, win this $100 bill right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Scan the QR code with this $100 bill. There you see it there. Look at that. It's right here. It's right here. Look at that. It's real. Look at that. I'm touching it right now. I'm touching it for you. Thirty seconds. 30 seconds. Seconds, 10 seconds. We're at 2 into 1. All right, if your name is, I'm looking for Ethan Blanton. Ethan Blanton. Come get your money. $100, man, right here. Come get it. Bring me your ID. Bring me your driver's license, your student ID. UTA ID student card. Executive Costco business card, hunter's license, passport. If you don't know where to go, ask someone who works here. Right? I'm the guy with the big head. That's what she said. Bull ride, second level. Well, where's Ethan? Ethan, come get your money. Where's Ethan at? Come get money. Not you. Dude, I know your name is not even just by looking at you. It's more like Ernie, maybe. You know? Ethan Lanton, L-A-N-T-O. Oh, Blanton, I'm sorry. I forgot the B. Blanton, Ethan Blanton. There he is. There you go.
I just got 3 things to say. Just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
USA, 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 USA. Here we go, man.
And at a certain point, 15 minutes into this half, if you want to make some changes, we saw how the changes can free up some players and provide opportunities up top, whether it's Arena or others, but you just got to be smart about this. Yes, there's some young players out there, but there are experienced players out there that even if it stays 2-0, doesn't matter, you ride it out.
You hit the nail on the head, Lex. You got to be very smart, got to put in a professional performance. You talk about 2-0 being a scary scoreline. You have 1 goal, you let them back in it, so keep the pressure, keep suffocating them, you know, with the water breaks, with the heat. It's going to make it more difficult on them. Obviously, if we get the next goal, it'll kill off the game. But yeah, you got to stay professional and keep doing what you're doing. It's been really impressive and fun to watch.
You talk about suffocating them. The regains and the numbers around the ball when they lose it has been absolutely fantastic.
With the win, the U.S. advances to the round of 32. We'll see a post-game for now. Back upstairs, John Strong and Stu Holden. Rob, it is in fact going to be a triple substitution for Australia at the half. Nestor Aaron-Kunda is going to walk into your picture in just a moment as the third. Cameron Burgess is the first to have his number put up. Jason Garia, who's the one who delivered the hard tackle that banged up Christian Pulisic in the fall, is on. Connor Metcalf, who scored a wonderful long-distance goal the other night. And the other goal scorer in that game, Mr. Aaron-Kunda, is the third who comes on the field for Australia. How does this change their team?
My first thought is that this is going to be a formation change, potentially for Australia, but we'll see how it ends up lining up. They take off one of their center backs, bringing on a new one. They're going to come and chase this game here in the second half.
The second half of the glorious sunshine, rocking Seattle Stadium, which is underway. So 3 chances, maybe not, 2. Okay, let's start with it. Why is the U.S. on the opening kickoff of the half kicking the ball out of bounds?
The reason you do this from a U.S. perspective, or if they do it again, yeah, you're dumping it down into the opponent's half. Out of bounds, not ideal if that, oh wow, that's about perfect. Right down into the corner. They're going to take it by the corner flag. Couldn't get any better. So now what you want is you've got the team with a throw-in. You squeeze up, as you'll see once we pan out to the wide look here, to put a team instantly under pressure. And something Carly was just talking about, the regains. The U.S. like the game being played in Australia's defensive half. You want to squeeze them.
Now you're on the run. This is where they are so dangerous, but Anthony Robinson's there first.
But that's how teams do that. That's how this U.S. team wants to play. They want to be aggressive, and they want to make sure that they play in Australia deep in their own half.
All right, so how does this look different as you're getting a sense of it now for Australia with the subs?
So it's going to be interesting, the in and out of possession. Looks like more of a 5-2-3 with Italiano pressing up high. The other thing is they are pressing up, so I think Australia now trying to work on some regains. That should, in theory, open up some space for the U.S. in some transitions if they can play through that initial press. But these first 10 minutes are huge to make sure the U.S. do not concede anything here.
Hayden O'Neill of New York City FC and MLS battling with Anthony Robinson. Goal kick is the decision, and the U.S. were furious because they thought they should have had a free kick at midfield at the beginning of that sequence anyway.
But they've released a defensive player from their defensive structure to go and press the U.S. higher to try to limit some of that numbers advantage that the U.S. had in their build-out.
U.S. unchanged. You saw Christian Pulisic there. He's sitting on the bench. He's not going to play today. The calf injury he picked up really in practice, actually, in the days before the Paraguay game, and despite all the hard work, could not get it to recover enough to be able to play. The hope is he'll be available Thursday night in L.A. for the group stage finale against Turkey, which, as it stands, not to say it doesn't matter, of course, but the U.S., as it stands, are clinching a spot in the next round with a win. It could potentially, based on what happens later tonight in the other game of the group between Turkey and Paraguay, know for sure that they're winning the group by the end of the night, as Flo Balogun is fouled. It'll be late tonight in Santa Clara, California, the South Bay area. Referee of that game, by the way, Yvonne Bartone of El Salvador. And if you know that name at all, you know, expect some chaos. Those are two teams that are coming off a loss in the opener, have been roundly criticized in their home countries by their media, are under an immense amount of pressure to bounce back with a win, and really each team needs a win. A tie keeps each alive, but doesn't really do them a whole ton of good. So that's going to be a wild one late tonight. Jenny tapped down the field, get a chance to speak to Jesus Perez, Chief of Staff of the U.S. coaching staff under Mauricio Pochettino. Jenny, what do you have to say?
Well, Jesus was very pleased with that first half, telling me at the moment we are solving what Australia is doing against us. We're attacking them at the right time and the right space. We do need to stay mentally strong in the second. I had to ask Jesus about that goal from Alex Freeman. Obviously, they had to wait for it. He said, we knew it was offside. We were watching it, but of course, a huge relief for us. And John, I got to say, watching that celebration from the U.S. team, one of the best I've ever seen.
And Jenny, was interesting as Dest is going to get first to that loose ball. And is that indeed a foul? It is. Couldn't hear the whistle at first. We heard one of the Australian coaches giving an interview to Australian television at the half as well. They fully believe that it shouldn't have been a goal. They were arguing that Balogun from an offside position was impeding the goalkeeper, which doesn't really stand up to scrutiny and replay. But that was, like you talked about, their emphasis. Can they get some fresh legs on? Can they open it up and get on the run and put the U.S. back on their heels? Chris Richards opens it up to Serginho Dest. Great combination he and Weston McKennie had in that first half. Tyler Adams joining up now.
Well, there were some questions about who was going to come in for Christian Pulisic. What would Mauricio Pochettino do? Did he bring Tim Way and put him on the right and flip Dest? I don't think you move Dest a single ounce from that position on the right. He is so dangerous. You see him, he's second top guy from your screen up there. When he comes inside now and becomes unpredictable to make these types of runs from inside to out. Then he's wide, then he's in. He and McKennie, look, we'll talk so much about this throughout this tournament, but the two of them have got a really nice partnership together. You've got the solidity of Freeman, so just doesn't have to worry as much about the defensive side of the game. And I think that's just the biggest thing I've seen from this team and the way that they are set up tactically is that they have structure, but at the same time while having freedom and featuring the best qualities of all of these players in the right positions. Here's Dest again.
That was good pressure there to force just a hopeful ball forward for the goalkeeper Beach. It led to this possession for the U.S. That one is from Dest for Tillman. You can scan the QR code coming up on your screen. Vote for the Michelob Ultra Superior Player of the Match. Very similar to what we saw Friday night in that first half. Every single guy in the field is making plays, even if they're subtle and don't show up on a statistical sheet. As Robinson pressured off it there, Aaron Kuna gets the touch. O'Connor opens it up wide for Italiano. Anthony Robinson defending. Italiano cuts it inside, crosses inside. Connor Adams is there to head away. Pepe with some pressure. Australia wanted a free kick. They don't get. Balogun's got space. There we go.
Blocked, ends up out for a corner. Gets caught under his feet. He's trying to look up and see where Beach is. The space was there. This is Round Australia, an example. They're trying to push and find a goal, but then they leave themselves exposed at the back. First touch is good, but that touch right there, the second one, gets caught under his feet as he's trying to separate to give him room for the strike, and then ends up being a great challenge from Chikati at the end to put off Flo Balogun as he was looking for his third goal of the tournament, and certainly would want that one back. And he probably will get that one back if this game will continue in that way. He's going to have room to run in behind this Australian defense.
The Australians would not have been happy had that ended up in the back of the net with the amount of shirt that he added the defender. They would have been really upset about that. Here comes the fourth quarter of the game. Sent into a great spot. The second man there, that was Sherpati, couldn't get up to it, was able to clear. Tillman takes the bump, trying to control a bouncing ball. Aaron Kuna brings it down. Alex Freeman is there to intercept the outlet pass. And Tim Reed, veteran savvy, extending by a week his own record as the oldest man to play in a World Cup game for the U.S. Just slows it down, settles it down. McKinney going to find the angle there for Balogun. He's proving a handful. Able to turn and face on Shirkati. It's another corner.
Great running again for Balogun. And he does really, they're playing it quickly. He pins his defender really well and uses his body to shield and make sure that they can't come across and win the ball, drives his team down, wins that corner, which the U.S. took short.
Tillman. Do it again.
I'm sure everybody at home would want this game to go 4-5-0. This is the U.S. being smart here. They don't need to raise the tempo of the match all the time for 45 minutes. Be smart, keep the ball, exert your energy in the right ways, and if the space is there, go. But take seconds off the clock if you can.
Tillman again. Balogun was up for it. And Balogun head-to-head collision with the Australian defender. That's the second collision that Balogun has taken. One was to the back of the head. This is to the front. Chirkati there, the Australian defender. And the medical staffs will not come running out. Trinity Robin, who we saw pregame among the luminaries and celebrities here in Seattle. Who doesn't want to be a part of this bandwagon right now? It's a good step meanwhile off the ball. The U.S. has won it back high at the field as Michael Lynch is watching. What's the famous beast quake? They actually do have seismometers, is that what you call it? I'll look it up later. But yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up in the booth. All right. To measure, like you would an earthquake, the shaking of the building. And we had two big roars and big shakes here today. Freeman lifts it forward. McKinney brings it down. It'll be an Australia throw. Russell Wilson in there as well. CR and his wife. Wilson is, among other things, a part owner of the Seattle
Culture references are much better today. You know, we didn't
Don't jinx us, man. Don't jinx us.
It does speak to the amount of people that want to be a part of this and attending a World Cup match in our home country here in the United States. First time on the men's side since '94.
Richards forgets too far from.
It's been a spectacle. The energy, I can't speak enough about it. And just soaking it in from city to city as we go. LA, get ready. We're coming back there for that Turkey third match.
Adams, good tackle in the middle. That was Anthony Robinson not ready for it. Could be a foul. It's going to be an advantage here. There might be punishment coming for Robinson later as Pepe wins the ball. Referee Felix Bonner is going to call that dead for a foul. It's an Australian free kick, and the question now is Anthony Robinson going to get a yellow card? He is.
This was not the foul that led to the yellow card. This was the second one, which I actually thought was a paint challenge from Pepe, but that was brought back, which actually ended up stopping the advantage. This was the tackle, yeah, pretty clear. Anthony Robinson trying to step across with his right foot. Italiano, for the first time all game, quite frankly, getting the better of Anthony Robinson. Robinson has been pinning him back deep. Seeing much more of an aggressive positioning from Italiano in this half. So they're trying to get really their wide fullbacks higher up the field to try to keep the U.S. back a little bit. But the problem for Australia is they've just been unable to keep any possession of the ball. And now they're in the set where they were that led to the U.S. chance. Where they're going to spread out, they're going to open themselves a little bit from that defensive shell. So if the U.S. can win the ball, like, that would stay.
It did. Well, the unfortunate thing is that came from a turnover from the U.S. and Robinson had to step in. So he's got a yellow card. Tyler Adams as well. He was shown a yellow card last week in the first game. If you get a second yellow card in another game, you will be suspended for the next game. So if Tyler Adams were to get a yellow card in this game, he would be suspended for the finale on Thursday. That's going to stand point for Pepe. Ricardo Pepe. And Tillman. That was Anthony Robinson. But that yellow card accumulation is wiped out at the end of the group stage and then wiped out again at the end of the quarterfinal. Now it's Freeman. Serginho Dest. Dest on Jordy Boss. And the double team able to force him back. Tillman, early touch in. Weston McKinney wasn't quite ready for it. Fans on the downstream in the corner. Referee was disagreeing. Again, video review can take corner kicks away. They cannot give them. And should have been Tillman right around him.
Actually should have been foul, honestly. But this reminds me of the night Tillman we saw during the Gold Cup for the U.S. He's so smooth on the ball. He just glides around the field. He's such a tempo player, so creative. But his work rate is so impressive off the ball. That's why the U.S. has been successful defensively. Press from the front and makes the guys' jobs behind you easier.
Good work by Lucky there. Boss early cross. And when he was beaten to it there by Eric Goodman to get a touch to it, he did. And there's some no. And this is where it can be taken away. That was the incorrect call. Austin Dunker, the video assistant referee, based in Dallas at the International Broadcast Center, will be having a look at it.
And it has indeed been changed. So there's Eric Kunda coming across. When a player is that adamant, normally you believe them for something like that.
Really? So if you just yell loudly, we should believe the players more?
And if it's not, you still try anyways. That's the nature of us players.
But it's interesting because number 2 Ream at one point was shown a yellow in that first game. Ended up being taken away. Matthew Leckie is down in pain. 35-year-old, long-time veteran of this Australian team. His 4th World Cup. No one expected him to be here at a 4th World Cup. He had a series of injuries after the last one in Qatar. It had been 2 years since he'd been called into Australia. When he was brought back in the last few months, and Tony Popovich saying just what a terrific job Leckie has done as a 35-year-old to have the second wind of his career and get back to this moment. And now he's getting stretched out. Australia have made 3 subs already of the available 5. It's a chance for the U.S. We're a little bit shy of the second half drinks break, as they call it in Australia, from a cricket standpoint.
I'm still scratching my head a little bit about his selection process coming into this game. I know he put Lucky into the lineup, but he took his 2 goal scorers out of the lineup and then rectified that at halftime, bringing these guys into the game in the second half. But I don't know whether that was tactically that he felt it gave him a little bit more solidity behind the ball, and his plan was to bring these guys in the second half and be more aggressive, but they've gone to that, and we'll see if Lucky can continue. It looks like they're preparing another sub for Christian Volpano.
Will they make the sub now? He's ready to go.
Well, this is an interesting player for them as well.
They will make the substitution now. That's 4 out of 5 for Australia. And Volpano, another born in Australia, Italian parents, was playing for Italy's youth national teams and just made a switch 3 weeks ago to play for Australia. And that's his World Cup debut now on the field for the banged-up Matthew Leckie.
Yeah, just his second appearance for Australia, but he is a player that is very dangerous, 1v1, creative type of players. Going to give Australia a little bit of a look if they can find him in some space to get turned and be a provider, but he's a very attacking player.
He's going to sneak in between defenders to bring that ball down in the air. Weston McKennie, great ball! Adams feeding to them in the middle by Metcalf. Now they're trying to get down Kunda on the run. Richards just trying to play the angles. Kunda doesn't have much support. Waiting for that support. For his backward shot is blasted over. That was Volpano. Just on the field, his first touch.
And there's going to be a review here for a player that went down in the box off that run. If there was contact, it was Volpano talking about that creativity. He gets the ball in a good space here, gets turned, and the way the pass is very good. This is the speed they want from Kunda. He runs it behind. And the incident that ends up coming, no, that is not going to be a penalty because Tyler Adams doesn't even see Metcalf's run as he's coming across, and he just catches his heels, but he's not looking at him. It's very incidental contact. I do not think that'll be a penalty.
Mark Gladberg, what about you?
Of course they will review it, but I agree with Stu. He's coming from Tyler Adams' blind side. Tyler Adams doesn't go to block him. He's not even looking at him. There's a natural coming together, and I believe that the VAR will not interfere with this.
And you were both correct. But another little, just a reminder for the U.S. Of where this can get dangerous, and that was, you know, Clint Dempsey, Carly, and Alexi talking at halftime. It's why it's such a well-worn cliche in our sport that 2-0 is the most dangerous lead, because Australia pop one in and all of a sudden they're a goal away, the momentum shifts, the vibe shifts, everything can change in a heartbeat.
And it'll be interesting to see how Mauricio Pochettino manages his bench here. And I think potentially looking to give his team a little bit of a lift in energy and guys off the bench that will be key. And right on cue, the crowd recognizing they want to give the team a lift.
Tillman, out of Valiant, Pepe's open in the middle. Valiant trying to get under control. It might fall to Pepe, it's cleared, it's pinged around. Great little feint turn there by Hayden O'Neill. Now Australia getting out on the run. Good work by Weston McKennie tracking back to slow boss. Force the Socceroos back. And minor later tonight on FS1, the other two teams in this group, Turkey against Paraguay. In the South Bay area, Santa Clara, California, coverage begins at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 in the evening tonight here on the West Coast on FS1.
I'm just wondering if Mauricio Pochettino would be thinking about bringing on an extra midfielder to beef up his midfield and counteract some of the changes Australia made. It was almost even Kunda for cases like this. Yeah. And you can hear a little bit of uneasiness right now. That freeze barking at his back line. I just think, look, you played the two strikers, you've got the 2 goals. It's not that you're going defensive by taking a striker off. You're just giving your midfield a little bit more dynamism and matching that extra man that Australia had now and solving some of these situations pressure-wise. Because look, you have some 2-2 against the back right here, struggling to play out of the back. Look, frantic, box up over a bit.
Here he comes in the air, trying to lay off. Paul Metcalf. As it was the Australian fans behind Freeze's goal who were roaring after that one. Freeze, gotta be careful, Richards. Contact there on Aaron Kunda. Australian bench is going ballistic right now. Austrian Docker, very experienced VAR. We'll have a look at this behind the play. But it's getting a little bit dangerous there at the back for the U.S. Valiant keeps it in play, wins a throw, and now we find out whether anything is coming from that. And it looks like Fitzfire has waved his arms and waved it off.
No, it's not enough. And Aaron Kunda's not getting to that ball anyways. But Chris Richards using his body, but shoulder to shoulder, gets across in there. But I'm curious now, how do you respond here in this moment? Australia's pushing, they're building momentum, they're buzzing around the field. Heard so much about this team being more mature than 4 years ago. Handle the emotion of it, but also at times, put your front, calm the game down. You don't want to get something to this type of game when you got 2-0 lead.
Great tackle by Weston McKinney there. We're about a minute or so away from the second half break. It might be coming at a good time for the U.S. And that's something Tyler Adams there in the ball said it was last week in Orange County. We now have seen everything we need to see in a World Cup because he lived it 4 years ago. As the Australian fans down the right making a little burst of noise, here come the Americans. Freeman wants it, and it's on too late. And Adams takes a shove there from Volpato. And that's part of it. It'll start to pop back up. Freeman from Dest, and they'll cycle it around. And a handful of U.S. players getting loose right now. Still yet to make a substitution. Australia just one remaining sub in this game. Robinson making a big run. Reed trying to find him. Robinson tracking over his shoulder. And he'll just tail out for a throw. And that will take us into the break. The match break presented by Lenovo. Midway through the second half. The U.S. managing things very well right now. There's going to be a late charge coming from Australia to be sure. 2-0 to the U.S. here in Seattle.
Okay, here's the deal.
All right, USA fans out there, we're in the hydration break. I think we got bars. Yeah, both of us. 38 hydration break areas. Let's go USA!
Changes have made, but they get the final goal. But if they make one, it gets really interesting. The goal for the U.S. now is to keep the pressure on a little bit. I think they can be a little bit more aggressive with some of their passing still. It's too comfortable passing it around the back and keeping possession. Keeping possession is fine, but you've still got to put a threat to the opponent to force them to stay back and be a little bit hesitant in the way in which they're pushing forward. I expect to see some of these subs soon. I think the U.S. need it, and we'll see which changes end up getting the final goal.
We can always get top of this head, but it looks like Sebastian Berhalter is moments away from coming on the field. Dan's down hard on the outside, keeping the ball cleanly. And for Eric, a good tackle, Chris Richards. And then Pepe had an option layoff for Dance. Freeman will try to get Dance on the run. And the end, all AD1Y can do is play out for U.S. run. Freeman's third career goal. And we'll have to video review late in the first half. Sebastian Berhalter was on his World Cup debut last week, getting set to come on. Whereas Chris Richardson, speaking with him yesterday after practice, was measuring how physical and intense this game would be. And you have to manage in the right way. Sebastian Berhalter said, no, we're not trying to fight. We're ready to go for everything. There was a serious intensity with which he plays. And it's the exact same.
Yes, but quite frankly, I think the type of player this U.S. team needs on the field right now to match some of that from Australia. If he's indeed decided he's making his way over the halfway line right now, my guess would be that would be one of the strikers being removed.
Metcalf, and that was his special interception as you'll ever see from Serginho Dest as he was trying to find the open side of the field. That's a loose pass there. Adams, big tackle, picked up by Italiano. Swept away by Adams a second time, job not done. Anthony Robinson digs it out on Metcalf. Able to turn the corner. And the U.S. find the open side of the field right now. Aaron Kuhn is going to chase down Ream. Dumps Ream to the turf. That's a free kick for the U.S. 18-year age difference between those two gentlemen coming together there.
Yeah, but the Aussies are hunting the ball now. They coming in strong and also late, as you can see the foul there on Tim Ream.
Berhalter's ready. And they've been having a hard time with that electronic board all day today. Mr. Aaron Kuhn became Australia's youngest ever World Cup goal scorer last week. Trying to get him going. It'll be Ricardo Pepi taking off for Berhalter. First a thought on Pepi. That was the lineup change for the injured Christian Pulisic. What do you think about his
performance? He was a handful. And a big part of the goal, the own goal from Burgess. I thought he did a lot of selfless running that you won't always get credit for as a striker, but running into the channel, hold-up play, link-up play with Balogun, the two of them worked well together. Great work from Anthony Robinson. Look at that strength here from Balogun. That's so good. You got a guy all over your back, but still to just keep your hands out, get your elbows up, make it difficult for him to get around you. Also, look, saying I'm quite happy actually to take the foul here and just give the U.S. a free kick and stop the momentum a little bit from Australia.
Paul O'Connor being called over by Felix Weyer. He's known as a referee that likes to keep a game tight, that likes to use his cards to control a game. He's not really done that. He's also known for really not enjoying dissent. And that was O'Connor had a word on the way through as boy Sutar almost kicked Gary in the face. Tillman picks up the second ball. Tillman rides the challenge. Just slows it up and cycles it around. That's Berhalter's first touch. And Aaron pass for Dest to the outside. Ball struggled to get on the run. O'Neal just threaded that through for Metcalf. Now Italiano. Anthony Robinson waiting for him. A little bit of space here for Metcalf. It's Volpato. Volpato gets the cross in. Freeman stooping low, heads it away, and that header evades multiple Australia players. Balogun can't escape. Garia gonna recycle. Richards is there to head away. Robinson trying to steer to the open side of the field for Dest. 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. U.S. as it stands, clinching a spot in the next round. Could clinch the group stage win in Group D based on what happens later tonight between Turkey and Paraguay. Fifth and final sub in the wings for Australia. Volpano. Adams defending. Italiano. Volpano on the return. Cuts it back on McKennie. Sweeps it in the middle. Popped in the air by Richards. And Rakunda rising up. Bodies and limbs everywhere. It's cleared away.
Yeah, I'm seeing some tired legs from the U.S. out there right now, not following their runners. They're going to hold this one to make the sub. Australia wanted to go quickly. They're also, I would imagine, going to check something in this sequence.
Doctor wants an extra moment to take a look in here.
So it hits his hands, but that's not a penalty. And you can see Flinchfire, the referee to the right, he sees it pretty clearly. And the reason it's not is, look, they're both challenging for the ball. There's not an unnatural movement from his hand up to the ball. The ball doesn't move because of that. I don't think this will be anything from a handball perspective.
All Okan Engsler will be replaced here.
And once a sub happens, that means that that has indeed been checked and cleared.
Fifth and final sub for the Socceroos, Jackson Irvine, another long-time veteran, 33-year-old at his third World Cup. And in contact off the ball, Christian Volpano goes down. Anthony Robinson, who's on a yellow card, certainly seems unimpressed with Volpano's going to ground.
Volpano's been a nuisance since coming to the game. You see his creativity. He's a difference maker for Australia. I didn't see what happened off the ball down to our right. And that sign there says nothing in it from the referee. So that's being communicated via the VAR. So he initiates it. And then look, the left arm comes up from Robinson. And he's trying to bait Anthony Robinson into getting a yellow card. Well, the other out is a part of the game. I like what you VAR in these moments that would not allow this to end up being something that would be whistled or Robinson would be punished. But if I'm Pochettino, I'm thinking about Robinson right now on a yellow and under pressure, that maybe he's the guy you would bring out of the game.
Austin Trusty and Joe Scally are prepared to enter at the next opportunity for the U.S. And they're going to set up here. This is one of the weapons they have. Alessandro Cercati has a long throw in him. And he's going to come across from one side of the field to the other to take this long throw. Everyone back to defend in the box for the United States.
Got to be aware of the second ball.
Comes backwards and short. O'Neal will return. Cercati blocked by Balogun. Australia corner. Like you talked about, I mean, these moments are so significant. You're 2-0 right now. Don't even let Australia get in shouting distance. 11 minutes to go. Plus stoppage time. Third quarter of the game. Swept in. Good head around there and down to the U.S.'s open. Second time to get out. Taking him out to the back of the head.
What a lead from Freeman. Showing his athleticism. The guy he's marking is 6'6". And Freeman just with a huge jump to win that one. Takes some contact and ends it off for the U.S.
Well, they put Dest and Anthony Robinson's numbers up, but the U.S. coaching staff is just making sure Freeman is okay as well. And the U.S. players have to hustle off you right now. But I said, you guys need to get off the field, because if you get off in 10 seconds, you can't come out for a minute, and the U.S. might be about to play 1 or even 2 men short. And what the U.S. is arguing is we were waiting to be sure that Freeman is okay.
And right now, to your point, there's this organization going on between the U.S. players on the screen to account for that. Now, Trusty's been allowed to come into the game.
Says the U.S. won the argument.
So this setup is now for the U.S. Looks like Trusty's going to start out to the left back position.
Yeah, Tom Popovich is serious right now. He's talking to officiating crew about that. So 2 World Cup debuts, Joe Scally, 23-year-old from Long Island. Bergeron from Tajir, Austin Trusty, 27-year-old from Medina, Pennsylvania. Just want to lay Tyler Celtic in Scotland, long time coming for him to make his World Cup debut. This is his 9th ever appearance for the U.S. at the age of 27. Jackson Irvine is able to control bouncing ball. Here come the Australians. They have 2 new players on the field for the U.S. Trying to get them to speed the game, trying to get locked in with their teammates. 9 minutes plus stoppage time away. The U.S. as it stands, clinching a spot in the next round. Could clinch a group win by the end of the night. That cross takes a walk for Walter's first set. Big challenge there with O'Neal. Moss on the outside. Volcano will cycle around. And one of the things you brought up, the U.S. has not had a shutout since September. And a win against Japan, a win that really changed the momentum a lot in the fall for this U.S. team. They would love to get a shutout win here today. Italiano, Irvine tries to sneak in. Cross by Metcalf will spin all the way through. For somebody that's really good to mind from the bottom.
And beyond just the not conceding a goal, I do think it's important for the psychology of this group to know that they can go through stretches of the game without conceding. It's not been the best of the second half, but it's been fun. They've limited Australia to not really dangerous opportunities. And as this tournament goes on, the games are going to get harder. The U.S. team are just, they're not going to be able to attack all the time, all the game. I do think right now for this group, they've got to dig deep, and this is a test of their mentality. They've got to still find a way to keep the ball in Australia back. But we didn't expect this Australian team to go down without a fight. But you can see that one goal, and then it becomes a very, very nervy finish to the game.
It's a word you hear a lot in this sport, suffer. It's something that the best teams do. They know how to suffer and work and grind in situations exactly like this. Nice little combination, and the cross from Tyler. Just got his first touch on the top of the box. There's a loose touch by Japan's 12 pass. Mango game for Australia. Still not clear. They're calling the field. Vienna, look at that one. Volpano trying to weave his way around. Italiano crossing in. Ring stabs away. Freeman a slice touch. Balligan. Can they get on the run? Can they just get rid of it right now? It's right back into Irvine. Irvine on a return from O'Neal. Richards all the way out to defend. Corner kick Australia. And again, the waving arm signal from Felix Fire. Nothing in this to merit a penalty.
First challenge is good. Ball bounces. No. It actually went through the legs of Richards and put that in the box. And you can see pretty clearly, Richards gets all of the ball before he goes down. And anytime his body goes down in the box, you start getting a little nervous. They of course going to appeal for if it's a corner.
It's an outswinger. It's too tall for Weston McKinney. Italiano on the other side, driving to the bottom line. It's a touch off McKinney. It's in the danger zone.
Yeah, this is a pretty clear foul right at the near post that led to the chance. A huge block in the box. Again, it doesn't really get a good strike on this ball. He knows that he's very frustrated. This is fine, but now he's not.
I can't hear you.
There's a reason he's going in the building right now. There's a nervy feel to the fans, to the team. It's kinetic. This is not the way the U.S. want to try to see this game out. This is a time for some composure. Then dig deep, as you said. It's matching duels. It's keeping that intensity high, because the second you let that level drop is when Australia really feeds off that.
You know what could really help the U.S. is get a goal. Tillman works it for Scally. Freeman's on the way to the outside.
But they just haven't had as much possession in the second half. It was a lot of it in the first.
Freeze just got that away from Irukunda. Very out comes McKinney. Flying header from Tyler Adams. Balligan Sutar, pushing and shoving off the ball. Balian's got to be smart. Sutar's got his hands all over Balian, and that is, no, it's going to go for an Australian free kick.
They're actually just going to set this up, I think, for a long set piece. They're going to send everybody up. And they're going to bring Volpato back to take it. It'll be interesting. Typically in this situation, you try to line up two setups. Position a group at the top of the screen, which is where you've got your big man and Sutar, to then head it back across to guys crashing the box on the near side. Freeman once again matched up against Sutar, who will be the target.
Volpato lifting it up. Sutar heads it in, Richards clears it out. Volpato first to the loose ball. Good hard running by Balian there to force him backwards. Volpato rolls it forward from Irvine, trying to return, enough of a touch there. Oh, it's going to be whipped back in across. Chris Richards wins the header, second ball in the stands. These guys are working hard. That's George Way. Tim Way's dad. Tim Way's mom, Clara, who was his first coach growing up, and George Way, a former World Player of the Year. Tim, not on the field for this one. Has an important role to play in this tournament, to be sure. Balian is down hurt. Tillman takes the kick. That's going to be a free kick, and now Balian's got to be careful as Sutar and he were in a wrestling match. Don't take a yellow card. Don't do something that's going to get you suspended for a future game.
I'm going to give credit to Flo Balian here, because he's mixing it up enough and he stopped himself. To have restraint in these moments, to not swing an arm, to not punch back. Sutar is trying to get under his skin. Those two...
Nothing like a little two-step there.
And so something else has happened off the ball. This is exactly how the game ended in October between these teams.
This calls for leadership. Something I pointed out in the pregame where Tyler Adams got involved in a play that almost saw Gio Reyna reacting, and he came in and separated the two players. The U.S. has, as it stands, more games to play in this tournament. Do not let this moment where you are leading 2-0 get the best of you and do something silly that would hurt the team.
Balian takes the yellow. Sutar takes the yellow. Looked like Italiano might have gotten a yellow as well.
See, Balian's sizing him up. Sutar goes in, but look how he's got his hands on his neck. But see, Balian then was like, uh-oh, what am I doing?
Wow.
I gotta stop.
Well, what the ditty is going on here? Look at it.
And away from what was about to be a headlock. Now they're gonna pick up yellow cards. I would say that's right, because Felix Fire, the referee's got to do something to try to calm this type of behavior down a little bit and calm this game down. It's had no flow in the second half, but that's why...
Thought he was playing rugby there for a second. Look at it.
Tillman couldn't do anything with that. Italiano clears it away. Big collision there. Free kick U.S. It's Scally that's down.
In the second half here, the Australians come here to have a rugby match.
I mean, if they're going to go down, they're going to go down swinging. We knew that. That's nothing new. That's more Australian rules football, I would say, than rugby.
It's fair. Both.
And here's the other part of the advantage of this situation. Balian gets a yellow, but you've clinched the group win. You could just not play him in the third game, and that yellow card is taken off the record, and you don't have an accumulation issue with him going forward. Tillman's touch. Austin Trusty wins the corner as he's making his World Cup debut. Confirmation, Italiano did get a yellow in that little sequence a moment ago as well. And we'll see how much time is going to come up here with 3 minutes to the break. We've got a couple players banged up.
We'll see if they play this short. They might try and limit it. We're in the 90th minute. We expect 6 minutes. Yeah. It's a long time to try and keep the ball in the corner. Some conversations between Tillman and Berhalter. So yeah, they are just trying to milk some seconds off the clock. That went out for a throw-in.
Classic clock killing, as one would say. They will take too much time off. Berhalter rising up to win the header. Tillman unable to get to the second ball. Berhalter just... If there's anybody who loves this type of game, it's Sebastian Berhalter. You can tell in his body language as Australia walked the ball up 10 yards before taking the throw. Trusty takes a shove in the back. Volpato, pass one. McKenny can't get there. Trusty from behind. Aaron Cook keeps it in play. Italiano. Is there a deflection or a miss hit? That ball is
6 minutes, 6 minutes.
spun out. It is out of play. It is a goal kick.
So this is the stuff, the bottom left of your screen. Look, that was the incident we didn't see before. Pretty clear. U.S. trying to get in front of that ball, box him out. Italiano, he's in a difficult afternoon. Just the U.S. been ramping down his side, forcing him to defend.
And that's how it looks. As it stands, the U.S. clinching a spot in the next round. They could clinch first place in the group, and that would allow them to stay on the West Coast in the knockout stage. That would mean Bay Area, round of 32. It would mean Seattle, round of 16. It would mean LA, quarterfinal, if they can get there. There is a big difference, too, winning the group and being second in the group for the type of opponents you get, in addition to the amount of travel. It's going to find Ballaghan. There's no one in the box for the U.S. Freeman. Berhalter for McKenny. Ballaghan. And not quite the right angle for Berhalter, although his block holds it in momentarily. Scally's there with a header. Aaron Kuda trying to sneak in. Draws contact off Richards.
He's going to get a yellow for this. So now Chris Richards on the yellow card as well. Coming across, though, this is a smart foul. This is textbook tactical foul. Aaron Kuda with his speed. You don't want to just even open the door of doubt and just cleans him out, but in a slightly innocuous way. But the reason yellow is the referee. He actually had a little trip. He's getting stretched off right now with maybe a little bit of cramp.
And then the hope is it's cramping and nothing more, because it was an awkward.
Yeah, he kind of tripped on his way to give the yellow to Chris Richards.
And it's something we don't really talk about a lot, but the fitness levels these referees have to have. One of the ways you hear it phrased is the referee has to be more fit than any given player on the field.
What the hell's going on here?
Quick counter to be able to make the cut. And it's a warm day. The sun is out. You've got FIFA medical staff. Mark Plattenberg is with us.
Yeah, someone give that guy a banana. I don't know what's going on, man.
See this, but I mean, this is just as much as it is for the players.
Throw orange at him. Come on.
It certainly is, and it's happened to them many times in the games where probably haven't got the fluid on, and therefore you can't open. It's interesting. Why do you get that one? It's different. So they need to get something in his body. It's a hot day.
Oh my God.
Into the conditions, and there's
Man, I've been here every day since World Cup. No one brought me one of those.
The other piece of it I think is interesting. You look at these referees now. They got microphones. They've got cameras. They've got the spray. I mean, it's a lot of gear you're carting around too.
It certainly is, especially now in the modern day, the amount of
Weekend vibes.
with the technology. But Felix Zayan certainly carry on. He's only got, 2 minutes plus a little bit more stoppage time to deal with. He can protect himself as long as the game's not stretched. I'm sure that the reserve referee will not be used in this one.
And you saw Katia Garcia of Mexico, the fourth official, run over some hydration. Gio and Haji Ryder preparing to enter.
I'm going to give the referee a yellow card. Or a yellow card on the referee.
Here comes the Australian free kick off the Richards yellow card. Pops sideways. Malik Tillman is high and as far as he can boot it. And Ballaghan was trying to take it clean out of the air. U.S. got to reset here defensively. Trusty heads that away in front of Italiano. The U.S. want to make subs. They were screaming at the fourth official. And they're saying that the paperwork wasn't ready. So the U.S. is still having to defend. No, they're not. It's all the way through.
And just keep in mind, too, that number you're seeing, 1 minute, in essence, it's going to be a little bit more. It's only the referee who actually knows how much time is left in this game because of the added time of him being down on the ground.
Bill Ballaghan created the own goal that was the opener. Haji Ryder is on.
just said it time after time about the running of the strikers from the U.S. that really helped open up the game. They've still got a job to do, though, to finish this game off.
Here in Kunda battling with Trusty, gets up first, gets to the ball, gets across, it's stabbed away by Sebastian Berhalter. Tyler Adams hits the eject button. Tillman gonna get it back after from Garrett. Can he play? Haji might be walking his way through and saw his block. Flag comes up for offside anyway, but he milked a few more seconds off the clock. Can't be more than a few left on it still.
Man, he should have just went one-on-one.
He sends it long. Still time enough. Tim Ream with the second header. Irvine just hooks it blindly over his head. And the bounce all the way through. Perfect day. Perfect atmosphere. Seconds away from a perfect result. Never before has the United States been able to clinch a spot in the next round with one game still to go in the group stage of a World Cup. Malik Tillman got an exclamation point. Not going to get that. And just kind of battling Tricati to the loose ball.